So let's take a look at Gen 1 again. So obviously I'm not the first person to do a video like this. Obviously this idea was inspired from a Band into the Past and Silver League Networks and Tomohiro's videos on Gen 1 and some retrospectives on this series. So obviously in this video I plan to take a look at what I felt made each Pokemon generation great and take a look at what held them back. Obviously, all of these are strictly my opinion, so obviously if you disagree or think something should have been added, please let me know in a comment down below. But without further ado, let's revisit Gen 1. So, obviously, we are starting off with the pros of Gen 1, and is of course the Pokedex and the region. The Kanto Pokedex is pretty iconic. You have Pokemon like Gengar, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Mew, Mewtwo, Snorlax, and so on. There's a lot of enjoyable Pokemon in this generation. A lot of my favorites spawned from these games, and it's always a thrill to revisit the Kanto region. The Kanto region is a fairly decent region. Well, it's not the best region we've ever had. In my opinion, it's definitely the easiest one to get into if it's been a while since you played the games, or if this is your first Pokemon game. There's really no story to keep track of, and you just basically explain the Kanto region. That's pretty much essentially what these games are. Another positive is, of course, Pokemon Yellow being the first one to have colors. Obviously, technically it's not the first one because Red and Blue are still in monochrome, but Yellow kind of was a step up visual-wise for this series, as it wasn't just black, gray, and white over and over again. Of course, two of those got Pokemon games. But moving on, so Yellow was definitely a bit better to look at visually, but of course, obviously, the series would take another step in the right direction with, of course, Gen 2 and eventually Gen 3. And can take a step back in Scarlet Violet depending on who you ask. So, of course, obviously, we of course have the gyms in Elite Four. I really like these. It was always fun going into a new city, or eventually find Elite Four, kind of seeing what Pokemon they had, and just kind of testing out your skill against their trainers. The series would of course continue this, well, at least up until Sun and Moon, where they removed gym leaders and replaced them with trials, and Sword and Shield kind of getting rid of Elite Four, but for the most part it's been a long-standing tradition. A few other positives are of course Lavender Town, the area that spawned countless rumors, myths, legends, and creepypastas, and has certainly fueled a few of my videos in the past, and still remains to be one of my favorite locations in Pokemon. And of course we have the version exclusives, which, depending on who you ask now, are probably outdated, but at the time when these games released, version exclusives weren't a bad idea, as they encouraged you to trade with whoever you could just to fill up your Pokedex, which, is a brilliant marketing strategy and definitely probably helped some people make quite a lot of memories. These days, it could probably be something of the past. Obviously, leaving off the pros, we of course have the Virtual Console re-releases. On Pokemon's 20th anniversary, the Gen 1 games came to the 3DS's Virtual Console. Personally, I think this was a great decision, as it allowed a new generation to experience these games for the first time. It also probably would have encouraged older fans who might have loved the series to return and maybe give the newer games a try. All in all, I think it was a good idea, and it got even better with Gold and Silver, and eventually Crystal, being released on these systems. Unfortunately, we never got the Gen 3 games. So that leads me into my cons. Obviously, the most notable ones are, of course, the bugs. No, not Caterpie and Butterfree, but, well, bugs, other bugs. So basically the 256 glitch, the Zazz glitch, Missing No, and so on. These games aren't perfect and they're on outdated hardware, which probably led to some more issues, but of course that's some speculation. Obviously, let's talk about the Missing No glitch. So this glitch basically could, give you, duplicate items, but also came at a hefty cost. And of course we have the Mew glitch, which isn't really a con, so I'll be moving on to the Zazz glitch, which basically was kind of Missing No, but I guess with a new name or something. And then the probably most common one, the 256 glitch. Basically, once in a while, any one of your moves could miss. Yeah, so that was definitely annoying. So of course we also have the fact that, these games are kind of slow. Not as bad as Diamond Pearl, but definitely noticeable. This is an issue I have with the earlier Pokemon games, to be honest. I don't feel like enough people really talk about these ones. I mean, with the fact that you can't run in these games, not to mention the bike is also kind of slow, it kind of makes the game take longer to complete, which definitely could probably turn some off from it. But, honestly, there's really not much else to do with that. Obviously, next up, we of course have, bad movesets and the lack of certain types. Obviously, Dragon and Ghost types got heavily screwed over in this generation and in Gen 2. Bad moves are also something else in these games, as with there only being 165 moves, that meant not every Pokemon is going to have a good moveset. Personally, I don't think moves got better until Gen 3 or Gen 4. Gen 2 is definitely a step in the right direction, but in Gen 1, there's so many useless Pokemon. Well, some of these Pokemon are cool, using some of these Pokemon is more of a chore. And that's something that Yellow didn't really fix. And then, of course, we have the piracy. Yeah, so this is this is the final thing I'll be talking about in this video. Although I do want to give a quick mention to the special stat and several overpowered Pokemon. So, let's talk about the piracy for these games. These games have got a lot of repos going around. Now, this is an issue that all of these generations face, but seems more notable with the earlier Pokemon games. So, finding an authentic copy can be difficult if you're unlucky. So, my advice for anyone who's searching for these games is to just do your research. The pirated copies or repos are not worth it. Those copies are just, they're really bad quality and have given me quite a few issues, as I was unfortunate to get a repo version of Ruby. But that's all I have for today's video. Obviously, I'll be taking a look at the subsequent generations and giving a more in-depth look at them. So until then, goodbye. Thank you all for watching. And just want to state before I do have that anime review planned. So stay tuned for that. And I'll see you all next time.